This slideshow briefly explains the central ideas of my paper, Efficient Ex-Ante Stabilization of Firms, which appeared in the Journal of Economic Theory in 2017. I'm David Frankel, a professor at Melbourne Business School. The motivation for this paper comes from the crisis of 2008 and 2009, during which many large firms were bailed out at public expense. These included financial firms such as Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, AIG, IndyMac, Bear Stearns, and Washington Mutual, as well as industrial firms such as Chrysler and General Motors. These bailouts may not be the best solution for firms in distress. They are costly for taxpayers and controversial. Bailouts also create a problem that is called moral hazard. Expecting to be bailed out if it gets in trouble, a firm may take steps that raise profits now but make a bailout more likely later. For instance, they may pursue riskier ventures or take on too much leverage, or they may buy assets that promise high returns but that will be hard to sell in a downturn. Such opportunistic behavior can make bailouts very likely and thus impose a large cost on society. It would be nice if we could come up with a way to keep firms solvent without encouraging costly moral hazard. In order to do this, it helps first to think a bit about why firms fail in a downturn. One reason is a kind of self-fulfilling prophecy among the firm's small stakeholders, that is, its customers, suppliers, and workers. If a firm is expected to fail, these stakeholders may opt to get out when the getting is good by taking their business elsewhere. But without its customers, suppliers, and workers, the firm cannot survive. In this way, the prophecy is fulfilled. How can we prevent this bad outcome? One idea is to protect the small stakeholders from the harm they would suffer if the firm were to fail. The hope is that such insurance will help the firm weather bad times by encouraging its small stakeholders to keep doing business with the firm. This idea of protecting small stakeholders is not new. During the 2008 auto bailout, then-President Obama pledged to protect both the customers and suppliers of Chrysler and GM in the event that these firms should fail. He did so by promising to stand behind the automakers' warranties as well as their debts to part suppliers. However, there is a problem. The firm will be tempted to exploit the greater loyalty of its stakeholders by demanding higher prices from its customers and offering lower wages and prices to its workers and suppliers. This opportunistic response will in turn make these stakeholders less loyal to the firm. Taking this into account, the well-meaning insurance may actually make the firm less stable in bad times. Bailouts will still be needed and could even become more frequent. The main contribution of this paper is to show how to fix this problem with a scheme of partial insurance. The basic idea is to provide fuller insurance in bad times and then to gradually phase out the insurance as the firm's condition improves. This approach ensures stakeholder loyalty without letting the firm demand better terms of trade. There is no longer any need for costly bailouts. We'll now work out a simple example that illustrates the idea. Let's assume a large group of identical new car buyers. Each buyer chooses between two models, a fuel-efficient hybrid car and a gas-guzzling SUV. Consumers are tempted to buy the hybrid, but they are worried that it won't catch on with other buyers. In this case, the hybrid maker will go bankrupt and thus be unable to honor its warranties. However, the government has the option of backing these warranties. It can promise to fulfill the warranty if the hybrid maker fails. We assume that once made, these promises must be kept. To make things simple, let's also assume that the government chooses between just 3 different levels of warranty backing. First, the backing could be complete. The hybrid warranty is fully backed by the government at no cost to the hybrid owner. Second, the government might not back the warranty at all. In this case, the hybrid owner loses warranty coverage for sure if the hybrid maker fails. Finally, the government may offer partial backing. There are many ways to do this. The government may cover fewer defects than the hybrid maker, or for less time. It may also require a higher copayment from the owner for covered repairs. How much is a buyer willing to pay for the hybrid? This depends on 2 factors. First, as the hybrid gets better gas mileage than the SUV, it is worth more to the buyer if the gas price is higher. Second, the buyer is willing to pay more for the hybrid when the government provides stronger backing for its warranty. For concreteness, let's assume that a buyer's valuation is $50,000 if full backing is provided for the warranty and gas costs $4 per gallon. Let's also assume that the buyer's valuation falls by $10,000 for each $1 decrease in the gas price and for each drop in the level of warranty backing promised by the government. These valuations are shown in the table. The rows correspond to different gas prices from $4 down to $1 per gallon. The columns show different levels of warranty backing from the government, full, partial, and none. In the upper left cell, for instance, full backing is provided and gas costs $4. The buyer's valuation is thus $50,000 as we have assumed. Moving one row down or one column to the right always lowers the buyer's valuation by $10,000. Moreover, we will always assume that the hybrid maker's cost of producing a single hybrid car is $25,000. We will consider 3 cases. In case 1, the government does not back the hybrid warranty at all. A buyer's valuations at different gas prices are now shown in red. Since the cost of making a hybrid is $25,000, the firm's only profitable price is $30,000, which appears in the upper right-hand cell of the table. In this case, the consumers buy the hybrid only if gas costs $4 per gallon. If gas costs $1, $2, or $3, they instead buy the SUV and the hybrid firm fails. This failure of the hybrid firm is a loss for society and thus may lead to costly bailouts. In particular, suppose gas costs $3. If the buyers could somehow be persuaded all to buy the hybrid, its maker would survive, and thus the hybrid warranties would be honored. Each buyer's valuation of the hybrid would then be the same as it is with full government backing of the warranty, that is, $40,000. Each hybrid sold would thus create a joint benefit to society of $15,000, the buyer's valuation of $40,000 minus the firm's production cost of $25,000. For this reason, the government might be tempted to cover the losses of the hybrid maker in the hope that one day, somehow, consumers will buy the hybrid and society will reap this benefit. We now turn to case 2. In this case, the government tries to ensure consumer loyalty to the hybrid maker by fully backing the warranty at every gas price. The resulting buyer valuations are shown in red. Prices of $30,000, $40,000, and $50,000 are now all profitable for the hybrid maker. Each exceeds its $25,000 production cost and leads consumers to buy hybrids if the gas price is sufficiently high. In particular, if gas is very likely to cost $4 per gallon, a consumer's valuation is highly likely to be $50,000 for the hybrid. In this situation, the hybrid maker will be sorely tempted to charge $50,000 and survive only if gas costs $4, which, as noted, is very likely to happen. As noted previously, when gas costs $3, yet all consumers buy SUVs, society loses $15,000 per consumer. The government can either accept this loss or, once again, engage in a costly bailout. Neither option is very attractive. The central insight of this paper is that we can solve this problem by letting the degree of backing depend on the gas price. In particular, suppose that no backing is given when gas costs $1 or $4 per gallon. Moreover, full backing is offered when gas costs $2, and partial backing is given when gas costs $3. This gives rise to the buyer valuations that are now shown in red. When gas costs $2, $3, or $4, consumers are willing to pay $30,000 for the hybrid. When it costs $1, they are not willing to pay anything. Thus, the hybrid maker will be led inexorably to charge $30,000 and to survive as long as the gas price is $2, $3, or $4 per gallon. But these are precisely the gas prices at which, when all consumers do buy the hybrid, their valuation of the hybrid exceeds the firm's production cost of $25,000. In this sense, no money is left on the table. All possible gains from trade are realized. Moreover, with this policy, there is never any reason to bail the firm out. Why? Well, the firm fails only when gas costs $1. But in this case, it's actually better for the hybrid maker to shut down, since its production cost of $25,000 exceeds the consumer's highest possible valuation of $20,000. But how much does the policy cost the government? The surprising answer is nothing. The government provides partial or full backing only at $2 and $3 gas. But at these gas prices, all consumers buy the hybrid. The firm survives and thus is able to fulfill its warranties on its own. The promise of backing has no cost for the government. In conclusion, one way to avoid costly bailouts is to insure a firm's small stakeholders, its customers, suppliers, and workers, against the damage that they will suffer if the firm fails. A combination of full, partial, and no insurance can be used in order to ensure that the stakeholders will remain loyal as long as society can gain from the firm's survival. In the simple example we study, the policy has no cost for the government. This concludes the video on my paper, Efficient Ex-Ante Stabilization of Firms. Thank you for watching.